As I think about the call of God in my life, it goes way back, way back, way back. Even back as far as when I was about 3.5 years of age. I was in Dr. Green's office. And this doctor was taking care of me. And being a child, even down south with my mom and my dad, I didn't know anything about the racism. But there was something that came to me that I wanted to be a doctor, a medical doctor. And that's followed me. It followed me so far as to when I got into high school and ended up in the gifted classes. And I won't talk about how the racism and all that stuff that happened tried to keep black boys out of the proper classes, demeaning us and trying to put us down and going into the slow classes. I'd been in the smarter classes from 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. Then I go into a white community and I'm not in 6, 1. The girls are in 6, 1, but they put all the boys in this slow so-called class. But God was with me even then. Just the way God treats us, I want to treat people. How I help people, just the way God helps us, I want to help people. How I want to be there for as many people that I can be in my humanness, and that's just how God is. One of our engineers, even another engineer, we loaded with engineers in this church. And this brother's such a wonderful deacon that helps to make things happen. I'm so proud of his 2 sons who just became Eagle Scouts, the first 2 Eagle Scouts in our church. And his youngest son, 13 years old, the youngest
Eagle Scout in this Queens area.
The youngest Eagle Scout.
Yeah, African American Eagle Scout, I believe, yeah.
Isn't that a blessing?
Thank you for planting that seed, because otherwise we would not have even thought about ever being Eagle Scouts in our family.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah,
we're all about building, brother.
Yeah, you planted the seed, Rev.
Thank God. I had individuals who impressed me as a child, and their impression in my mind has fostered my love and concern for children. I attended the YMCA on Carlton Avenue, and there were leaders there, young men, young women, who were dedicated and committed to help the young people in the community. So that became a part of my being. And therefore, again, looking at the young brothers and sisters on the block where I lived, we had a strong bond back there. The older brothers were always looking out for the younger brothers, playing ball, doing races, and it was such a close family, united. Everybody was together. Those are wonderful days. So that type of unity and support for one another has been very dear in my heart. One thing that my mom and I and Dad did as we went to the movies, my mom and Dad could not read nor write. They had been deprived of that working in the South and the sharecropping. And they put a lot of love in me, especially my daddy. He said, I want you to push a pencil. And the movies became an integral part of our Friday night family gathering. And I'd gone to the movies on one occasion with Dad and Mom, and I saw this picture. And I saw this movie, and it was like people in a village, I don't know where they were, but like Greenwich Village, and they were very engaged in having a center for children. It was like a daycare center or a school, and that stuck in my mind. Just like my mind reflected on the doctor who impressed me. I became impressed with this school. And it came to pass that on occasion that I went to a school and saw some children that reflected back on this particular movie. Somebody was selling this building. And I saw then that God refreshed my mind, and I had always thought about having a day center for children. And God brought that into pass. We have a daycare center in Brooklyn. My wife and I purchased that 38 years ago, and we taught and built the lives of literally thousands of children in that particular school. So this thing of even mentorship and children was an impression that God had given me many, many years ago. And it just keeps flourishing and growing and expanding. And we're grateful for what we've done thus far in the area of mentoring and teaching many children. We've had teachers that have come who've been excellent educators, and we know that that's our future. Oh, children have come back from 3 or 4 generations into the school because of the foundation and the in-depthness of the love and the teaching that my wife and her staff exuded.
Praise God.
Yes,
hello. Dr. Davis.
Oh, that's you, Dr. Davis.
That's me, Ed Davis. Amen.
Yes, Presbyterian Church of St. Albans was one of the founders and one of the greatest churches in New York City, and was renowned throughout the country. And God places me in this wonderful position. I give him glory. I know it's nothing but the hand of God. So the 8 years were foundational. I get to become the pastor of the church. The ordination was just supernatural. And I've been in this particular house of God for now, as the youth coordinator, 8 years, as the pastor, 32 years. So I've graced this place. This church has graced me for 40 years, and so many wonderful things have happened.
Lord bless you.
Please excuse my hand.
And you are?
I am Phyllis.
Phyllis?
Yes.
And what ministries do you?
I sing.
You sing.
I'm a psalmist.
I sing because I'm happy.
Yes.
I sing because I'm free.
See, he's a singer too.
His eyes on the sparrow.
That's a
That's God,
good
Phyllis.
song.
That's a lovely
That's
song.
a good.
When we see so-called officers who supposed to be taking care and defending people and putting people in neck holds and killing them, that's nothing but the enemy. And I don't know what happened over on Farmers Boulevard with that store, but it looked like someone deliberately backed up and ran into that beauty parlor, and that's nothing but the enemy. Satan is really trying to tear you down, but God is more powerful.
This community has not changed to a large degree. The basic change is that we've gotten new families coming in. Many families from the island are now here renting. And sometimes we see that the apartments are the homes are quite overrun because of 2 and 3 and 4 families living in the home, and the code might be for 2 families. So that's a matter that we will help eliminate, at least to some degree, by having this project. The program's called The Cycle of Life. And the Cycle of Life came to me when I had the opportunity to take my 2 sons to Egypt with Dr. Ben. We were in Egypt and went to a village in Aswan. And in that village, I saw the cycle of life, the beginning of life, children, the day of life, just life in all its beauty. And that stuck in me. So I came back home, and when we started thinking about a name for this property, it was the Cycle of Life. The Cycle of Life is in the midst of being constructed now. We're building 67 units. We'll go to 100. We're going to do the next building will be 100. But this particular unit will have 67 affordable apartments, 1 and 2 bedroom apartments for the people in the community.
As you can see, most of the infrastructure work has been done already. The wiring, the plumbing, the sprinkler work, and so on. So in very short order, this will all come together nicely with beautiful tiled floor. Wonderful. And it really would be fulfilling your vision, you know.
Thank you. You're the vision maker. So many of the wonderful men and women in the church who've contributed, and the 4 engineers, our special lawyer. Yes. We had everything right in the house. God just orchestrated this.
Well,
we're so proud of you guys.
A lot of it had to do with you not only having the vision, but being able to equip us to be motivated and encouraged and driven in order to fulfill
Well, you know who that is?
Yes.
That's the Lord who motivates all of us.
Well, Rev.
Inspires us with that Holy Spirit
Yes,
to
indeed.
keep going forward.
We're here in one of the apartments, and we're standing right now in the living room. As you can see how bright and airy and roomy it is, and we really do feel that it was a great design, and it certainly will serve as just a wonderful dwelling for all people who are desperately in need of living quarters here in our community.
So we're standing here in a community space which will be utilized by the church for a lot of the mission work that we do.
It's a multi-purposed area, and it'll be convertible to entertain and host a variety of things. We're grateful and happy about this. We need that as we see the church getting small and not having sufficient space. It's going to open up a lot of new ventures for us. And we give God praise for the vision.